Come, Sergeant.
Heretics.
Calling yourself a community that cares.
Oh, but we do care, Nicholas.
It's all about
The greater good. The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
You see, as much as I enjoyed your wild theories, Sergeant, the truth is far less complex.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
Shut it!
All right. Hello, hello.
What is up? Goodness. It is Thursday. And yeah, today is the day. Today is the day that Micah is officially an old man on the internet. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. It is very much appreciated. Also, happy birthday to Calamitous in the chat, because he says today is his birthday as well. So, that's awesome. Apparently today is Jelly Roll's birthday too, along with Jay-Z. So I am one of the least, big celebrities, you know, smallest, not that I'm a celebrity at all. I almost said one of the least important people, but I don't want to down myself that much. But yes, thank you for the well wishes. Holy crap, dude. So sadly, I have spent most of the day kind of headachy, laying in bed. Though I did enjoy all three things that the three foods that I have on my birthday just about every year. Cake, some form of cake, some form of ice cream, and a taco pizza from Casey's. Had all three. Didn't eat all of them. I actually, because it was warmer yesterday, I ordered the taco pizza then. Because I don't want to put like a delivery driver through driving like 3-degree weather like it is today. Like, that's bullshit. I'm not gonna do that to him. So I just said I'll order it the day before. I'll eat a little bit then. I'll eat the rest the day after. But yeah, this year was Moose Tracks ice cream and cherry cheesecake. So I am a happy camper. I am very full. Good Lord. My stomach is like, stop eating today. Just don't. just stop it. Oh, man. So starting tomorrow, I am going back on cutting a bit on how much I'm eating. Just sticking to, you know, meats and vegetables like I had been prior to that. The one thing I splurged on when I did my groceries is I bought myself a couple of New York strips. And I'm going to throw those in the sous vide tomorrow whenever I get up to cook up, because that'll be pretty good. So yeah. The funny thing is, like, I had so much food left over from the turkey dinner that I made last week that, like, I haven't touched any of the groceries I bought this week. I wasn't even thinking about it. I probably could have gone without buying them now that I think about it, but whatever. I just won't buy them this week, or this next week. Yeah, taco pizza is goated. If you have a Casey's wherever you're at, if you've never had their taco pizza, go for it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's even like that Casey's is the best gas station pizza. It's probably not. Their tomato sauce tastes like spaghetti sauce. Like, it's got too much sugar in it. But their breakfast pizzas and their taco pizza are excellent. So if you've never had them, do it. You will not regret it. Oh man, like, taco pizza is like, it's incredible. So as Angry Green Boss likes to say, I'm gonna be a bit of a communist. How they make it, because I used to work at a Casey's. How they make it, obviously it's your standard pizza crust. The sauce is a mixture, a 50-50 mixture of mild salsa and refried beans. That's the sauce. And then they cook it with standard mozzarella cheese with a little bit of cheddar in there. And then with beef toppings. Just not sausage, but beef. And then They cook it. Speaking of boss, there he is. And also, speaking of wah, we'll be talking about that in a second, too. But then once the pizza comes out, they, crumble up a bunch of Doritos. Not nacho cheese Doritos, and put that as the topping with lettuce and tomato. And it's glorious. It's so filling. It is if it's not my favorite type of pizza, well, my favorite type of pizza is probably just a really savory pepperoni. But Casey's Taco Pizza is like top 3 for me. Wild as that might be. But I got a hell of a birthday present today. Well, apparently I've got one in the mail, according to Mom. But I don't know what she got me. But because both of my parents called me. My dad texted me and then called me at like 6:30 this morning. Because I responded to his text, so he knew I was awake. And I'm like, woo! Like, hey Dad, how's it going? A Sharkasaur 413 throws in $3, says happy birthday. Thank you very much, sir. But anywho. So I got to talk to Dad a little bit. Dad was, that was a special conversation. As short as it wasn't very long. He was getting home from work. And just what he encouraged me to do, and just keep in mind, is he said, you know, he's like, you're at your halfway point, but just understand you've still got a lot of living to do, and there's still a lot you're going to get done, and you're going to succeed at. So, that, sorry. And the usual, like, he's proud of me thing. Stuff like that just reminds me of being a kid again, you know? And my dad and I have a very close relationship, so it's just any time that he says something like that, it hits me right in the feels. So, but I got to talk to him, got to talk to Mom today, and you know, Mom was, of course, Mom, making sure I'm okay. It's just, I love my family, man. Can I tell you guys a story? Well, you're here, so I'm gonna tell it anyway. So, some of you guys are new here. The old heads are gonna know where I'm going with this already. I'm adopted. My birth parents, from what I understand, my birth mother, was Jewish, but wasn't really, like, was about as Jewish as a ham sandwich. She didn't keep kosher or anything like that, but she was, you know, born from a Jewish family. And if your mom's a Jew, you're a Jew. So that's why I bring it up on occasion. But I was born out in Arizona as the result of my birth parents trying to reconcile. And didn't work out. And to be honest, I could have been thrown in the bin. You have to keep in mind, this is in that period of time, politically speaking, where Roe v. Wade was federal because of the Roe v. Wade decision. I'm not going to get into politics. It's just a reality. I could have... There's probably an alternate universe out there somewhere where I don't exist because my birth mother went to a Planned Parenthood instead of contacting someone who contacted my grandfather to get me adopted. But my mom and dad heard from a distant family member on my mom's side who contacted my grandpa that there's this baby in Arizona that is up for adoption. And they flew all the way across the country. My mom and dad had been trying to have a kid for a while. My mom, it was just not working. You know, she'd had a few miscarriages. It was bad. And I went from being born on I want to say I was born on a Monday. Let's look it up. It was Monday or a Wednesday. No, it was a Wednesday, now I remember. I was born on a Wednesday with no name and no family. Birth parents didn't want me. One of the most soul-crushing things that happened to me in my 30s was my birth siblings got in contact with me. I wanted to talk to my birth mother and father. They still didn't want me. So at that point, you're not mom and dad. You're just whoever the hell you are. My real mom and dad are the ones that chose me and wanted me to be their son. That is something that 40 years later is still very humbling. That I very much could have been left to die somewhere, you know. Very much could have had a completely different life than what I did. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that my life has been, you know, wonderful, but I will say this. I had a rough childhood, but my adult life after my early years, you know, yeah, I went through a really bad divorce very early on in life, but I've had from when I was 25 to now when I'm 40, so 15 years of life that hasn't been easy. But I will tell you guys right now, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I've gone from being a guy who has nothing but regrets to a guy who genuinely enjoys waking up in the morning. So, I thank God every day for my mom and dad. And, you know, I won't lie. I'm getting older. I'm getting sentimental. I miss being around them, you know? And, I will definitely be savoring Christmas this year. Whenever it comes around. But, going from being born without a name to having something is huge. Sorry, I'm getting very sentimental. I probably sound like a complete and total pussy. Just, Jesus. So with that, crazy tale of my life out of the way, I do want to say that today has been, despite the headache, has been pretty good. First and foremost, you guys obviously missed it because I've only been streaming for about a half hour, but I had one of the most epic neck pops of my life. So like I said, I woke up really early today, and and I like cracked my neck, or no, didn't crack my neck, but I woke up with a headache, talked to Dad for a little bit, then talked to Mom a little bit later in the day. My 65-year-old mother is now trying to be starting her gym arc, so I don't have an excuse now. And admittedly, with the money I'm bringing in now, I don't have an excuse not to just take an Uber out to a gym. Honestly, like a few times a week. So I think I'm gonna start to. I'll just have to get a Uber One membership so I get some discounts. But anyway. Yeah, how dare you show love to your family? What a loser. There are some people out there that for some reason consider things like being emotional about things that a man should be emotional about to be a weakness, which has always been really weird to me. Like, if you cry about how much you love someone, like your family, I think that that's not sorrow. Like those are tears of joy. And if there is one thing in life that for some people is incredibly rare, but should be cherished every time it happens, is tears of joy. Because that means that you have, as all of the people I know that every church I've gone to, they would just say, you're blessed. You know, you have been blessed by God. That joy comes from God. So don't be ashamed of it. Don't be anything like that. Like, I make jokes and stuff like that, but honestly, like I try to praise God whenever I can for, you know, the as fortunate as I have been in my life. You know, even with all the hardships I've gone through, I've learned quite a bit from it. You know, and it's not perfect. Like there's rough things that happened still in my life. Even recently that have happened that could have destroyed me if I had learned from past things that had gone on. And, it's just one of those things where, you know, I'm a very lucky guy. I'm very, very, very blessed. Jake Blacklock says, you're not, Vlad said, in other words, your adopted parents are your real parents. Well, your birth parents had one job and afterwards became as disposable as the diapers you wore. That's pretty... it's reassuring. A little blunt about the last part, but it's just one of those things that I felt kind of bad because my last communication with my birth cousin was that, look, if my birth parents don't want to talk to me, because they were legitimately wanting me to move out to Arizona, which at the time I was considering just because of how sick I get during the winters. And I have a family friend that he and his family moved down south because he had similar issues that what I have with like sinuses and stuff like that. And living in Florida has actually been like a real big boon to him. So that's part of the reason I want to move out to North Carolina. It's a lot warmer than it is in Illinois. But regardless, like when I heard that they still wanted no part with me, I'm like, all right, well, fuck Arizona then. Fuck this noise. I'm not doing that. So, but anywho, so that was really cool to hear from the family today, or at least my dad and my mom. Have heard nothing from my sisters, which I'm going to lambast all four of them. Because I usually try to get in touch with them when it's their birthday. But anyway, we got a one hell of a gift today. Not these. These are my earbuds. I'm gonna throw these in real quick. But oh god, they're cold. Now let me switch over my audio device as well. But we are going to watch this trailer. Because this just came out today. And holy good lord. I am super stoked as to what's coming down the pipe. Thank you, Platformer Failure. Alright, let's hit this play button.
Peggy 18.
That's a lot.
The galaxy lies shattered. The Blood Ravens stand alone. We fight. We bleed. We die. For centuries, we have been sworn to defend Kronos. We have returned to find a world in ruin.
I'm going to pause this real quick. This is actually one thing that is kind of a commonality in 40K, is Kronos is the world from the very first Dawn of War game. And the orcs showing up again is not uncommon because more than likely there were spores that were left behind that that turned into these orcs. So
Orc warlords infest the surface.
is that Gaz? That's one thing I'm wondering. Some say it's Gaz, some people have said it's Head Taker. I don't know which one.
Mechanicus priests.
We know who that is. That's Belisarius Call.
Pursue knowledge long forgotten. Ancient horrors awaken, claiming dominion over all. And something still stirs below. Buried deep, lost for eons, and never meant to return.
That right there makes me think that this is a Catan shard that's on that planet.
We stand defiant.
There's a Scorpec destroyer.
Kronos must not fall.
And this,
And we are
that
not
is,
alone.
I think it's Captain Tyrus? Steve Bloom's character from Dawn of War 2. But this is where it gets crazy. The Dark Angels. Not just the Dark Angels. The Deathwing, so the first company of the Dark Angels. The Ravenwing, the second company of the Dark Angels. Cyrus, thank you, Panzernaut. And the normal green ones, I'm assuming, is third company. So, 3 companies of the Dark Angels are on this fucking planet. And it gets crazier.
Our future is untold. Only one thing is certain. War has returned to Kronos.
For those who do not know who this is Lion L. Johnson, the Primarch of the First Legion, the Primarch of the Dark Angels. Quite possibly the greatest duelist of the Primarchs, and he is on Kronos. And the Dark Angels are united. I am incredibly stoked. I love the Lion. The Lion is an amazing character. Amazing Primarch, amazing General. Him being here pretty much tells me who's going to win this conflict. This is a big deal. I am not of the opinion they would put the lion in this game if this wasn't important to the narrative of 40k going forward. Lehman and the Lions fought to a standstill, didn't they? A couple of times, yes. But the difference is that Lehman has lost some fights against other Primarchs that Lionel Johnson has not lost. The big comparison point, the Lion fought Angron prior to Demonhood and did not beat him. The Lion... Lehman Russ fought Angron prior to Demonhood, did not beat him. The Lion fought him after Demonhood and cut his fucking head off. He literally fed the Emperor's shield to him. And yes, there is a lot of aura in this alone. You don't need to know who this is to know that this guy's really important. You know? But this is wild. Like, it definitely speaks to the idea that this is going to be a very important story. So I will definitely be picking up Dawn of War 4. I am super stoked because I really like Dawn of War 1. Dawn of War 2 is okay. I never played Dawn of War 3, and I like to pretend that it doesn't exist, because it looks really weird. But Dawn of War 4 is looking like it's going to be nuts. Because we have... It looks like this is the 5th company of the Blood Ravens, I think. They're Codex compliant, so let me have a look here. Okay, so Codex compliant heraldry looks like this. So it's the 5th company. 5th company is Dawn of War 2. 2nd company was Dawn of War 1. You can tell by the rankings here. So, I am pretty stoked, to say the least. It's going to be cool to to continue with the Blood Raven story. But the kicker is, Lionel Johnson is there! Like, it has to be a big deal. That's why I think it's a Catan shard that is under the planet. Because, man alive, I cannot think of what else it could be that would get the Lion to be there. Because basically what's been going on since his return is that the Lion has effectively been the Primarch of that has been guarding the Imperium Nihilus. So let me explain this, because there's some people in here that don't know 40k. You guys mind me doing a little bit of a lore dump? So, what we have here is there is a planet called Cadia. And outside of Cadia was this place called the Eye of Terror. The Eye of Terror was effectively a gateway to the Immaterium, to Hell, as they call it, or the Warp in 40k, where all manner of demons exist. For the longest time, Cadia was the planet that guarded it. That basically, if chaos wanted to come out of the Eye of Terror in force. If they didn't have the hijinks to get out of the Immaterium some other way, they would have to come through the Eye of Terror. And Cadia would be right there waiting for them. And the War Master of the Chaos Space Marines, known as Abaddon the Despoiler, who is the son, or one of the sons of Horus Lupercal, the Great Traitor, who betrayed the Emperor during the Horus Heresy. He has had several of what are called Black Crusades. Crusades meant to try to weaken the Imperium. In the 13th, he went straight for Cadia with one of the biggest chaos forces ever seen. Demons and several of the traitor legions went with him to strike at Cadia. In defense were the Imperial Fists, the Space Wolves, and the Black Templars, so on and so forth. A lot of Sons of Dorn and the Sons of Russ were right there waiting for him. And they almost beat them back again. Until Abaddon, being the giant fucking baby that he is, decided to do something. He said, "Alright, I'm gonna pull a Gear and Zabi." And he colony dropped Cadia. Not only did he colony drop Cadia, but he also hit it with what's called a Blackstone Fortress. And it split the planet in half. At the same time, he also destroyed these things called pylons, which were made by the Necrons many, many millennia ago to try to keep the Eye of Terror contained to what it is. And to keep the Immaterium for splitting open. Abaddon's forces destroyed enough pylons to tear the Eye of Terror open. As such, this is what happened. The universe was cut in half. Now here in Segmentum Solar, you have Terra and Mars, so the Earth. This is where the Emperor is, sitting on the Golden Throne, acting as a beacon, a psychic beacon to the whole universe of humanity, or all of humanity across the universe, so they can travel through the warp. This entire sector, the Imperium Nihilus, has been cut off from that light. So that is where the current 40k narrative is at. Now, the benefits to the things that some have suggested are I'm sorry, I do mean the galaxy. That some have suggested this might backfire against Chaos in the long run is that the Primarchs are waking up. The Eldar helped the Black Templars and the Ultramarines to, and of course Belisarius Cawl, to resurrect Rabute Guilliman. Specifically a servant of their death god. So, her name was Yvraine. She's like a priestess of the Eldar death god. She helped to resurrect Guilliman. Guilliman, in turn, has forged an alliance with the biggest members of the Eldar leadership in many of their biggest Forge worlds. So, officially, there is a armistice between the Eldar and humanity, which is wild to think of, considering how bitterly they have hated each other for so goddamn long. But Guilliman is Guilliman. He is a phenomenal diplomat. So, he has managed to do that. Here in the Dark Area, Lionel Johnson, the Primarch of the Dark Angels, the other biggest legion, aside from the Ultramarines, also woke up. And he started to patch things up with the fallen Dark Angels, the ones who are heresy veterans that were displaced throughout time that the normal Dark Angels thought were all heretics, but it turns out they aren't. And the Lion, as we have now seen, has reunited with the Dark Angels proper, which is a scary thought. Because down here in Macragge, our boy, Captain Titus, respect be upon his name, along with Sergeant Mataris, and maybe even Malum Kaido, if Kaido is still alive, are trying to take back the 500 worlds of Ultramar. And several Ultramarine successors are the ruling governors of that region. And they are at full strength, or close to it. So not just the Ultramarines, the Nova Marines, the size of the Emperor are now at full strength. A bunch of them. Like, it's wild. So Ultramar is as strong as it ever has been, and is going to get even stronger with Titus now in charge of the Second Company. Titus has been named the Warden of Ultramar, basically meaning he is in charge of the expansion efforts to reclaim the old 500 worlds. And then with the Lion, for better or worse, how the Dark Angels operate is they're not a legion, but they are a legion. Basically, Azrael, the chapter master, and now the Lion, all they have to do is say the word. All of the Dark Angel successors will come back to Caliban, and they will reunite the Legion. And they will just go fuck shit up. With their Primarch back, and with a lot of those successor chapters being in the Imperium Nihilus, they are in a position to where they can actually keep it as stable as humanly possible. Not to mention, the Blood Angels are also doing the same thing. Because the person in charge of the Imperium Nihilus is Dante, the chapter master of the Blood Angels. Lionel Johnson actually does not want control. He simply wants to take his men from world to world and keep people safe. That's all he cares about. The Dark Angels have taken on a much nobler streak to them with the Lion returning. But because he has learned a lot from his mistakes. And he also understands, like, this is not the Great Crusade anymore. The mission is different. He wants to, now he really feels like 40K King Arthur. It's kind of dope. So right now, what we are seeing in the story is a return of the Imperium is pushing back against Chaos and the other forces in the area. Now some people have asked, like, what about the other Primarchs? Somebody has just mentioned Lehman Russ. When Lehman Russ returns, I think he will return. They're going to bring back all the Primarchs that are alive. Because the only one that is more than likely dead but might not be is Rogel Dorn. Aside from Sanguinius. And Ferrus Manus. But Jagatai Khan, Lehman Russ, Corvus Corax, Vulcan, still around and kicking. Along with Gilliman and the Lion. So some of 40K's war is basically Arthurian legend. I wouldn't say basically, but very inspired by. Thank you for the happy birthday, Jason. But, so right now what's going on is you have Fenris is right here. This is the home planet of the Space Wolves. Right by the tear. Then you have Chagoris. Here's the Badab sector. Not too far from Chagoris. is our boys at Nocturne, which is by the Pariah Nexus, which is why they and the Ultramarines were both there. We have Rin's World. This is where our boys, the Crimson Fists, are at. I love these. Love them. And then we have Deliverance down here in the southern area. This is the Raven Guard down in the Segmentum Tempestus. It is going to be interesting because it will be quite the push. Because you'll notice, like, a lot of the Primarchs that are somewhere are down here in this sector, somewhere where they would see the light of the Emperor. Because up here is where Baal is, and I think that might be the only one. Yeah. Hate the Games Workshop hasn't done much with Alliances. His return of suspecting novels tension between the Dark Ages of the original, but nothing. Dawn of War 4, man! That's the thing, Alien. Like, we're getting more Lion. That's what's got me so excited today. I mean, he's right there. Our boy is right there. He's back. I'm so stoked. I love the Lion. He's so dope. Because basically what the Lion is, he's Charles Dance. Pretty much. He's Charles Dance. He even looks like him. Like, I kid you not, like, currently he looks like Charles Dance. You know? Like, he's freaking great. Would like Lehman to return so we can fight Magnus again. I think it's going to happen at some point. Though right now, it's looking like the next big fight for Magnus is actually Mephiston. Which, that's interesting. Because the theory with Mephiston is that part of his body, the reason that he speaks about himself the way he is that Calistarius really is dead. And that what Mephiston is the dark side of Sanguinius' soul. The Lion having returned is going to make the forces of chaos quake, and if Vulcan returns soon, there may be new things to come. I think that we're not going to see Vulcan for a bit. My theory on it is that with Vulcan, what they're going to do is, like, let's be honest about something. Warhammer 40k is the big moneymaker for GW. By a country fucking mile. There are some people that seem to think that, like, it actually subsidizes AOS and Warhammer Old World and stuff like that, because it's not, like, it's nowhere near as popular. You know? which I'm not talking shit on Warhammer Fantasy. It's not my thing, but I just prefer science fiction personally, and space fantasy. I just like space. Space is fucking cool. I like power armor. Power armor is fucking cool. I like guns. You know, I love swords too. So, and not just like muskets, like fully automatic weaponry. You know? Come ye master of lore, he who loves the big guns. You know? But anyway. Heard offhand that Gilliman is in Imperium Nihilus, so Line and Gilliman waiting soon. We all want it to happen. I think it will happen very soon. It wouldn't surprise me if it's referenced or we see it at the end of Dawn of War 4. Because the reason that Titus is in charge of Macragge and the expansion into the 500 worlds is because Gilliman is in the Imperium Nihilus. Because he goes into the Imperium Nihilus at the end of the Plague War. And then I think that Belisarius Cawl actually references it in the new book, which I have not read yet. I'm going to probably start it tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a script to work on, or a couple scripts to work on, so I'll be in here all day. So I'll probably listen to it while I work. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. So yeah, today, really fucking good birthday, to say the least. What would happen if GW brought back Sanguinius? I'd be all for it. I think that's what the Sanguinor is. I think the Sanguinor is the light side of Sanguinius' soul. I think that when he was killed the way he was by Horus, it split his soul in two. And I think that they will probably find a way to bring him back. I think the main reason being is the Blood Angels are stupid popular. Which I'm not against it. Because the fact is, and this is what some people are going to have to just get over. Primarchs are money. Because the Primarchs are cool. They look cool. They do cool things. They are the main character. It's like getting mad at Master Chief for being John Halo, right? The Primarchs are basically a bunch of John Warhammer. It's pretty much what it is, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that at all. You need your poster boys. You need your Hulk Hogan, right? You need your Stone Cold Steve Austin. You need your Rock. You need your John Cena. You need your Roman Reigns. You need your guy at the top of the bill to move the merch and all that other stuff. Primarchs do that because they're so goddamn cool. It doesn't mean that there aren't other cool characters in 40K, and it doesn't mean that you can't have your favorites. Like, guys, I'm a Caven Shrike guy. You know, the guy who just gave up being a chapter master. Sorry about that. Who just gave up being a chapter master and let Ethan Sean take the job? Like, that's my dude. Is Caven Shrike. Him and fucking Pelis Mirsan. Like, Pelis Mirsan, one of the most decorated sergeants one of the most decorated captains of the Salamanders, head of the second company, doesn't even have a fucking miniature. You know, it's like, I like those characters a lot. You know? Baal Shar of the Carcharodons. Awesome character. He's just a captain. You know, captain of the third company. So it's just one of those things where yeah, Nikona Shuriken's another one. Another great character. Who is still alive, mind you. He's just in cryostasis. I think they will bring him back at some point. But he's being watched over by Belisarius Cawl. At some point, somebody's going to go after Cawl, and Shuriken is going to get unleashed. And that's going to be a bad day for whoever's across from him. Because Shuriken's fucking scary. Is there a miniature of Sakan from the Pariah Nexus? Not really, but he'd be really easy to do because some of the like expansions that you can buy for your miniatures, one of them is a bionic arm. You just put a bionic arm on one arm, and then he's just an intercessor. So what moment in 40K was Austin 316? Oh god. I would have to give it to Rogel Dorn during the Siege of Terra. There was a speech he gave. I'm going to read this real quick. Dorn himself spoke then, a message that went to every helm, vox bead, and address system in the palace. The time for speeches is done, said Dorn. The first great test is here. My order to you all is simple. Yet heed it well, and exert yourselves to see it done. They are coming. Kill them all. That is, it's so succinct, it's so Rogel Dorn. Fully capable of giving a good speech, mind you. But, just that order. Exert yourselves to see it through. They are coming. Kill them all. Oh. It is just, fuck yeah. It's either that or Sanguinius' speech at the Eternity Gate. Those are two, like, my two favorite speeches in 40K. Another good one is, but you have forgotten one thing, brother. What's that? It is also a hammer. One thing that is apparently in the upcoming book about the after the heresy is that on Terra, Vulcan and the Salamanders are hunting down traitors. Vulcan catches one of them, holds the guy up by his throat, rips the front of his armor off, and then plunges his hand into him and rips out all of his organs. Saying, when you die, you will not die as a space marine. Fuck! Do not make Vulcan mad. As Magnus learned twice. You guys want to know why Magnus had two black eyes after the Siege of Terra? Vulcan had to tell him twice. Like, quite literally. Like, he beat the shit out of Magnus. Magnus leaves, becomes a demon, comes back, gets beat up again. Like, Vulcan is scary. I would legitimately say that in a one-on-one fight, the first guy of the Loyalist Primarchs you do not want to see across from you is the Lion. You will be dead before you know what happened. The second is Vulcan. Because he's going to bludgeon you so bad that you're not gonna, like, you're gonna be so confused as to what's going on. Where you're going, this is the nice Primarch? Like, he's scary in how powerful he is. I mean, the beast, he killed that thing by tackling it into a reactor, and it was the size of a Titan. You know? Like, that Vulcan is something else. Yeah, Salamander motto, beware the nice ones. Pretty much. Always thought Vulcan is like John Coffey if he was violent and had a healing factor. I very much believe that if Michael Clark Duncan was still alive, he would play Vulcan in a live action movie. 'Cause like he kind of like Vulcan in a lot of ways kind of feels like Michael Clark Duncan, the gentle giant, you know. I know some people don't like Major Kill, and you know, like whoever you want. Major Kill in one of his recent videos, when he's talking about the salamanders, how nice they are, flat out said that, you know, Vulcan is like, the salamanders are nice for the setting. Vulcan is nice for the setting. But with Vulcan, it's basically, provided you're a human, you're safe. If you are one of the enemies of mankind, you're a fucking dead man. Period, point blank. Who was it that Vulcan went at with his hammer again? Well, several people. But the two that he's most known for beating in a fight is Conrad Kurz, the Primarch of the Night Lords, who he beat the fuck out of. And then he defeated Magnus, the Primarch of the Thousand Suns, did it twice. He was the first Primarch to defeat a demon Primarch in one-on-one combat, I think. The second would have been Sanguinius, who defeated Angron. That's not true, I lied. I'm wrong. The first Primarch who was not a demon at the time that managed to defeat a demon Primarch was actually Perturabo, defeating Angron. And his speech to Angron is really good. Like, he just basically, like, flat out says, your strength is not your own. It was given to you by, you know, and you were born a slave, you remain a slave. And he effectively deprived Angron of his power by depriving his sons of an honorable fight. The Iron Warriors artilleried the fuck out of them. Of the World Eaters. At that point, if you're a follower of Khorne, you're not going to become more powerful from the fight. Don't fuck with Perturabo, dude. He is scary when, you know, competently written. But he's my favorite trader Primarch, Perturabo. More scared of Corvus, dude is a giant crow demon hunting the demon Primarchs. Funny you say that. He's actually not a giant crow demon. He is... That's the meme. The truth is scarier. He's basically Dracula. But instead of bats, it's birds. He is a living shadow at this point. Constantly metamorphizing into different shapes. Though we don't know where he's at now. Because Lorgar is out and about. So we don't know where Corvus is. Hopefully we find him, because I love him. Hello from Japan. What is the topic of now? We're talking Warhammer 40,000. Just kind of lore dumping at the moment. Some people had asked me some questions about it. So I figured I'd answer. I thought Sanguinius was Dracula. That's the thing. Sanguinius is a vampire, but he's not really doesn't have a whole lot in common with Dracula. Not really. Like, not in the way he behaves. Corvus being more Dracula than Conrad is hilarious. Conrad would be more closer to Dracula, but even then, not really. There's no nobility to Corvus. Or no nobility to Conrad, rather. There's a lot of nobility to Corvus. Always think Corvus is hunting for Lehman. That would be interesting if they brought them both back at the same time. Given in Norse mythology, ravens and wolves have a very close relationship. I say leave Angron for to Thraka for Yalman. Hope I spelled his name right. Oh, you mean for Old Baelai. He might not be dead. We don't know yet. But we need confirmation on that. I don't think... We don't know if he's still there on Armageddon or not. He wasn't really mentioned in the most recent war, so... Though there is that funny meme of Angron, like, saying, like, you'd really die over a human? And Gaz looks at him and goes, someone is. Because Gaz liked fighting Old Baelai. He loved those fights. Though from what I understand, he didn't like running into Tushan. That's a bad day at the office for anybody. You run into the fucking chapter master of the Salamanders. Found your Gundam content. Honestly surprised how deep you dig. When did you become a Gundam fan? From Gundam Wing? Yes. Wing was my introduction. You said you're from Japan. To kind of give you an idea of it, because you guys, you know, like, Gundam's been probably a part of your culture for, I mean, has been a part of your culture since 1979. Here in the United States, we didn't really get Gundam very much. It was a very rare thing to get anime at all until the turn of the millennium. That is when Toonami came on Cartoon Network over here. That's when, and the first Gundam show that we got was Gundam Wing. And that was basically where Gundam, how it came to the United States in a really big way. Sula throws in $5, says, thanks for the kit recommendation, I'll check it out. That said, I thought sanding glass was for flat surfaces. Nope, you can work with rounded surfaces. I do it all the time. Though sometimes you might need to do a little trimming with your X-Acto knife, but nothing too crazy. That's why I say get like a fatter glass file and a thin one. We could have gotten it earlier with doozy bots. Do I like Dawn of War 2? It's okay. I'm not... It's a lot slower paced than the original game. So, I kind of have to be in the mood for it, you know? Like, I blazed through Dawn of War 1's campaign in like 5 or 6 hours. Like, I kind of steamrolled it. Dawn of War 2 it takes its time a bit more. So, but it's not a bad video game by any stretch of the imagination. I just prefer the original. What is the most insane weapon or vehicle that the Sisters of Battle have? Anything to do with, like, what they do to heretics is usually a good classification. I forget the name of it. Let me look this up. keep in mind, I'm not the biggest Sisters of Battle fan in regards to, like, playing as them. Oh, here it is. They're 3 of their walkers. First is the Penitent Engine. When I call them, like, nuns by way of Clive Barker, this is what I mean. Because this shit is like something straight out of Hellraiser. But yeah, the Penitent Engine, the Mortifier Engine. The Anchorite. Like, these are jacked up. These are like fucking nuts in regards to the lore. Because this is what they will do to heretics that supposedly, like, want to redeem, or they will force to redeem. Is they'll lock them in that and say, go to the, now you get to go to war. The sisters are pretty fucking crazy. They're one of the more grim factions. Or like sub-factions of the Imperium. Probably the grimmest. Which is part of the reason why I want more from them in the fiction, because I really feel like they really keep the grimdark root of 40K, especially the Imperium, rooted where it needs to stay grimdark. It's what I appreciate about the faction so much. Opinion on Trench Crusade. Dope enemy designs. The art style in general is awesome for Trench Crusade. Don't know if I would ever play it. We'll have to see what happens. Are you happy with the factions that Dawn of War 4 will have, or do you wish that there were others or more? I'm pretty stoked. Because for me, it's who I get to play as. Which, I'm a Space Marine guy. I'm simple like that. Kind of boring. I know it's the missionary position of 40K, but I like them. I really like them quite a bit. So getting to play as the Blood Ravens, getting to play as the Dark Angels, the fucking Lion, like I'm pretty stoked. I think that what's going to happen is they're going to do something similar to what they did with the first game, where the expansions will have more chaos stuff. And to be honest with you, this is kind of a nice change of pace, because it feels like ever since the opening of the Great Rift, it's just been Space Marines versus Chaos, Space Marines versus Chaos. Well, now we're getting basically Orcs, Necrons, which Orcs versus Necrons is not something we see very often. And then, of course, Space Marines and the AdMech. But it doesn't look like the AdMech and the Space Marines are necessarily on the same page. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. All things considered. Gundam Wing was also huge in Japan, not only because it was good, but because of the huge anime boom. At the same time, there was Evangelion broadcast as well. OVA is big time for the whole anime industry. Interesting. From what I understand, though, like, it wasn't quite as popular as there was an expectation for series that came after Victory to be even bigger, and they just weren't quite. They were kind of level with it, at least in regards to the ratings. I just think it's kind of unfortunate that it just gets overshadowed over there in Japan. Like, Gundam Seed gets everything, but Wing not effectively. It is the show that made Gundam into an international success, and it's gotten all of its follow-ups are in print. There's no animation of any of it. And I think that's a little... It kind of, as a fan of Wing, pisses me off. But from what I understand, they're wanting to kind of broaden out to a more worldwide look on where they want to take the franchise. In which case, in my opinion, yeah, lean into Wing. Because there's a lot of guys my age, you know, today being the big 4-0 for me. A lot of guys my age who, when we were just teenagers, watched the show and went nuts about it. You know, my very first Gunpla were from Gundam Wing. It was the 1/100 high grades from back in the day. And then now I have over there to my left Wing Zero and Epion just hanging out. And then 2 tall geeses that fell over, sadly, because I brushed up against my bookshelf and knocked them over. I'm going to have to... And a couple pieces got knocked off, so now I got to clean the whole area and try to find them. But it's just one of those things where I really wish that they would kind of understand what they're just kind of sitting on, you know? The fact that Seed is somehow successful in a sequel series is insane. Seed is much more popular in Japan than Wing is. And that's the kicker, is that Sunrise, it's a Japanese company. So their priority is going to be Japan. You know, if it's not popular in Japan, they don't care. In a lot of cases. The Gaijin liked it, whatever. You know? Which, in my opinion, is a little short-sighted. But that's been an issue with... And I don't mean to be mean to any Japanese viewers, because I've noticed that there's more people that are watching my videos from Japan after I started allowing the AI to auto-dub the lore stuff. And admittedly, that's part of the reason I want to learn Japanese. Is, to be honest with you, in the future, if I become fluent at Japanese, I might re-record some of my videos in Japanese and upload them in Japanese to try to, branch out to that part of the world. Have you seen any from Macross? I watched the original Macross a very long time ago, and I don't remember that much about it because I made the mistake of watching it like 3 a.m. and falling asleep half the time because I was just dead tired. But the one thing that I remember about Macross that I will always say 100%, Min Min is a cunt. The only anime I watch is Dragon Ball. Would Wing be a good start to Gundam? Yes. Wing, in my opinion, is the second best place to start. The best is the original series. Maybe I can help you if that time comes. Maybe so. One of my goals this year is to start learning new things. I like to learn. It keeps my mind healthy. And the 2 things that I'm going to be doing a bit more of is being a little bit more diligent with my diet and my exercise. Specifically, what I'm going to do is, last time I went out to the gym, I was an idiot. Because, as you can tell by looking at my goddamn shoulders, they are broader than the office chair that I have. I'm a big dude. For you. Big strong guy, right? When I was 17, I got into deadlifting. And my biggest deadlift was 700 pounds. And I got pissed off because they wouldn't let me try max out again. Because I pulled 700, looked at my gym coach and said, that was easy. And that was the 3rd place. I had tied the 3rd place record in that high school. Keep in mind, 17 years old. They wouldn't let me go higher for some reason. I think part of it was like they couldn't believe I lifted it. So, but it was easy. It was a very easy deadlift. Last time I went to the gym and I lifted hard. The problem is I lifted hard at 39 years of age. And I gave myself tennis elbow. Really, really bad tennis elbow. Because I went in and was doing reps with the weight that I used to do reps with. Like, I was doing, bench press reps of like 200 something. On a machine. Just cranking them out. Doing military press, hundreds of pounds, or like over 100 pounds. Doing a bunch of other stuff. Tricep stuff. Getting almost the full stack of weights on the machine. Like, just fucking clanging and banging. And I woke up the next day, I couldn't move my fucking arm. And I'm like, what the hell? Basically, to prove to myself that I'm still strong as an ox, I almost fucked my body up. So my approach is going to be lower the weights for the first month and but do just lots of reps to build up cardio. So Scylla asks, why aren't you supposed to cut the part of the runner with the nippers flush against the part? I heard it damages the part, but how? I will demonstrate. Let's grab my Rick Diaz here. Rico Diaz. Sorry to the Japanese person in the audience. I just felt like being Japanese myself for a moment. So let's take a part in here. Let's do part of the bazooka. Ugh. Set that back up there. So, a lot of what people are probably recommending to you is what's called the double snip method. So you got a high quality set of nippers, right? Like a pair of God hands like I've got here. And if I didn't say thank you for the $5, thank you for the $5. It doesn't necessarily damage the part unless your nippers are not that sharp. These are, again, these are God hands. These are like best in the market. And they are not only expensive, but they are very sharp, and you can actually nip really close to the part with a really sharp set of nippers, and there's no damage at all. Like, I don't know if you saw how clean that went through, but it went through really, really clean. But normally what people like to do is they like to nip a little bit higher up first. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So here's the part, here's the higher part of the runner. So I'll put the runner back real quick. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but I do not have a ring light on this. Fuck. You're not going to be able to see it. Shit. I don't really have a good way to light this up. But basically, what they're worried about is like a stress mark. Oh, frick. Let me see if I can move my light around. then that's not going to work either. God damn it. But basically what there's, if you look, well, you know what, let me find a fucking, just a picture of it. So this is from Reddit. This is what you're trying to avoid. See these markings here? This is why they say nip twice. Because you can get much closer to the plastic with and leave a little bit of that normal plastic that is still the same tone. And you're not pulling the plastic away from itself, which is what causes those stress marks. Because you just leave a little bit of the nip. Which I'll do real quick. So right here, if you look real close, if it focuses. Come on. Okay. Right here, there's a little bit of a sliver where it kind of sticks up a little bit more. It's hard to see, but it's there. Normally speaking, if you don't have really good nippers, you want to leave that, and then you just take your file to it. And what you'll avoid is discoloration of the plastic. So I just gently take my glass file like so. Keep an eye on it. Almost there. Just gently. And you don't want to stress it too much. Just take your time with it. And what I am left with is I can barely see that there was ever a nub there at all. So that is what you want to do, and that's why they recommend to do that. Personally, in my opinion, if you got a sharp set of nippers like God Hands, it lets you get away with a lot. So, well, no worries, Sula. I mean, that's part of getting into gunplay is like making mistakes, and that's why I tell people is if you're gonna get into gunpla, don't necessarily go big. Start smaller. Start necessarily with one that looks like it might be fun to learn on, but it's not like your holy grail, right? It's part of the reason, like, some of my holy grail machines are back here. Let me move some of my stuff around real quick. Like, this one is the perfect example. The Heavy Arms Kai. Like, this one is one of my holy grail machines. One that I will be taking my fucking time with. Another one that's back here. I think this is a box of comic books. I've got Sandrock back here too. I got my Act Guy. Not a holy grail, but I'm really looking forward to building it. But the other holy grail, the one that I really wanted to do, is this one. I didn't buy these until I was like really confident in my modeling skills. Mwah. This one is going to be sick when it's finished. The MS cage that I ordered is going to be here sometime late in the month. Then the LED kit comes out in January. So in February, we'll be building that thing. How's the cost of gunpla overseas? It's a little bit pricier because it's an import. But it's not too terrible. Who is DMing me? But, I'll actually show you. So, new type is the big one that I tend to shop from. So, we'll have a look at high grades and master grades. Why do I believe that Vulcan and Rabute get along? Because they do. In 40K, they get along perfectly. Rabute has a lot of admiration for Vulcan. But high grades, it depends on the kit. Here's the Barbatus Lupus. It's $17. I don't know how much that would be in yen. Let me look. Dollars to yen. So this would be the high grade aerial is $18 here, so that'd be $2,793 in yen. It's like 2,700 yen. Relatively cheap, all things considered. Like, some of these kits, the shipping to me would be like another $10, so another... Learning about yen today, which would be another 1,500 yen, which is like almost as expensive as the kit itself. So, master grades, on the other hand, they average about $55, 55 to 70 in US. So that would be about 8,500 yen to 10,000 yen. Close to 11,000 yen. Just depending on the kit. However, the really expensive ones, like the Phoenix here, are in the hundreds of dollars. Because like here's probably one of my favorites that I've built is the Sazabe Verka, which is one of the dopest mobile suit kits ever. It is stupid detailed. This took me months to get done, because I admittedly made the mistake of candy painting it. So this one in yen would be 18,156 yen. So, pretty pricey. Great kit, though. This one right though is my holy grail. This is the one that I want the most. Is the Unicorn Gundam Verka. Because this is one that comes with an LED kit. It comes with an MS cage. It comes with all three of the shield funnels, which I don't think the other kits come with. Question mark? I don't think they do. They don't come with three. The master grade full armor Unicorn Verka comes with two of them. Because basically what's going to happen is I have a desk back here behind me where I'm going to be making a diorama. Thank you for the happy birthday, Alex. And it's not early. It is spot on. Today is the day. But the desk behind me is going to become a diorama of 4 mobile suits in a hangar that is patrolled by grunt suits from the unicorn era. And then the unicorns in the background will be exiting their MS cages. They'll be in like action poses, like picking up weaponry and stuff like that. And they'll be literally awakening as they do it. And the unicorn specifically will have its hand out like this. And the shield funnels will be guarding the hangar. Like moving out. So I'm really stoked to get to do it. Though admittedly, if I move somewhere else, like I might wait to do it to when I move, instead of trying to do it in this little apartment that I live in. Ugh, excuse me. Thank you, Sean. By the way, how are we doing on the Epion video? Kind of curious. According to my analytics... Shit, we just hit 42,000 subscribers. And the analytics on the Epion video, it is at 43,000.8, or 43.8 thousand views in just over a day. Actually, I think it's less than a day. So thank you all for that. If you're on mobile and you watch that video, it will give you the option to hype it. Do me a favor, hit that button. It actually massively helps with growth. Also, I've got something to show you guys. It's kind of funny. Did you host a 40K themed stream when you hit 40,000 subscribers? I did not, so today kind of makes up for it. but yeah, this is gonna be one of the... This is Shirt Dude's this is Shirt Dude's icon from the fucking... I'm sorry, it's so goddamn funny. This is going to be his avatar for the podcast. Oh, man. Oh, fuck. This fucking... I came up with that idea with the shirt. And I'm just like... Just seeing it. This is fucking... Oh, man. Oh. Oh, God. Oh. I need to send this to Shirt Dude. He's gonna love it. Oh, man. That's... The story behind that. So the artist who is doing the avatars for us is Armand Strange, my colorist on my comic book Inglewood. And he is a very talented artist, obviously. And we were talking about, he's like, well, you've got the shirt. He's named Shirt Dude, but what is on the shirt? And I'm like, it needs to be something funny. So I'm like, what's a funny T-shirt slogans? And one that I would see, I almost thought about buying once, was just a shirt that said, "I fuck on the first date." Which admittedly is a shirt I would never be caught in public wearing. So, but I'm like, wait a minute, how do I turn that into it? And I'm like, I got it. I colony drop on the first date. So, it's just... And then, the other avatar is going to be, me, or as the Sanaju Stein. But the Sanaju Stein is wearing the Uncle Micah sweater. Just said the price of the Sazabi in Japan, it was 11,000 yen to 16,000 yen, depending on the situation. So $70 to $110. The fact that you can get it close to $70 is insane to me. But then again, a lot of that is like shipping these things out to America, because they're not manufactured out here. Believe it or not, sis, we literally just now we just got our first Gundam Play store here in America. Like this month. And it's 2 hours north of where I live in Chicago. I do plan on at some point visiting it just to see what's there. So I'll just take the train up. But I don't know where exactly it's at in town. Let me have a look. Gundam store, Chicago, Illinois. So, Gundam Base Chicago is opening Friday, December 12th. Fashion Outlets of Chicago, Rosemont, Illinois. So this is in Rosemont, which is nicer than a lot of other places in town. So yeah, it's the mall in Rosemont. So... Oh, I know this neighborhood. And there is a hotel literally across the street. So, let me check something. What's their website? So let's say I wanted to go there. It's opening on the 14th? They said? The 12th. So if I went there on like the 14th or the 15th, if there's a Monday, came back on the 16th. Fuck. Kind of an expensive hotel. I'd have to look at other ones around the area, but I might actually go up there sometime soon to have a look around and see if I can go in there and have a look and see what they got. Only problem is you have to go to Chicago, at least it's close to O'Hare. Yeah, but I'm from the area originally, so it's not that big of a deal to me. So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to go up there and have a look at it. Because there's not a ton of Gun Plus stores here in Illinois, honestly. At least I don't think. Let me have a look. I don't want to talk out the side of my neck too much. Actually, what? Oh, the Crown Plaza. This is cheaper. I've been here before. Crown Plaza, I stayed there for a convention I was speaking at years ago. Back during my Culture War days. So yeah, this is just down the street. Hatman and I have been around here before, so... Yeah, because there's the O'Hare Hotel, there's McCormick's, the Rosemont Theater is literally right there. That's the water agency. I don't remember where... Because, yeah, this is right by O'Hare. I don't remember where the train station is. Or the bus station. Because, like, with a bus, it's like 20 bucks. It's a cheap ride to get there. I could just stay overnight. I wish I had a camera, like a good one to like take some footage, but that would be something I'd have to talk to them about and see if I can get permission. But I wonder other, like, what there's Gundam stores in Illinois. Place the Red Raccoon has Gunpla? What? What? They do. Huh. We have a Gunpla store in town. Okay. I didn't know that was a thing. There's Nakama Toys. Hidden Lair in Mount Zion. Hobbytown in Batavia. Hobbytowns are usually pretty big. So, I should probably start ordering from Hobbytown then. I might save money on shipping. Oh, goodness. Well, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty stoked. Today has been a pretty good birthday, to say the least. Despite the fact that it is bone-chillingly cold outside, it is not bone-chillingly cold here in my apartment, which is always nice. Then again, the wind's not blowing, so that kind of helps. But yeah, we get closer and closer to the next goal of 50k subs. And again, if you enjoyed the most recent video, please do me a favor if you're watching on mobile. Click on the Gundam Epionis horrifying video and hit that hype button. Let's see if we can continue to move this up the algorithm and get some more attention on it so that we can have, more eyes on what we're doing here at this channel. And then, of course, if you're interested in the podcast that we're going to be doing, which is going to be called Masters of Lore, Shirt Dude and I will be doing it at the beginning of next year. Hopefully the art assets will be all finished by that point in time, and we will be golden. So, become a member to get early access to that. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I appreciate all you guys coming by, hanging out with us. I will see you all next time. I'm going to go be an old man now. I might go watch a fellow old person, because I think Cleo is streaming. In fact, you know what? Hold on a second. We're not quite done. We're not quite done yet. I want you guys to do me a favor. When we raid Cleo, I want you guys to do me a favor, and I want the raid message to be Hag raids Hag. Like that. And if they wonder what it means when you're over in that chat, just explain to them that a lore tuber just did a stream on his 40th birthday, wanted to share the love to one of his favorite VTubers. So, I will see you guys over there probably here in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. I will catch you guys next time.